Well, hello there, ladies and germs. Elton McFall here, aka Retro Old School, aka the, of course, fanatic of that is vintage and old and sometimes neglected. And sometimes I feel free like that bird flying over there, you know? And yeah, I'm here in my neighborhood of the past almost 3 years of Hochelaga Maisonneuve, and I just locked up the Schwinn Jaguar here in 1958. And all these buildings you can see here were really built in only the last so many years. Of those of you who can tell, designs what's old and what's not. None of this is fucking old, but the land here is very old. And this whole area, which goes on for, I'd say, I've seen some aerial photos there. It's a few miles in size. Used to belong to Canadian Pacific Railway. This was known as the Angus shop yards. Angus yards. And is my camera in focus or? Can't tell. You know, when the sun is really bright like that, it's very hard sometimes to tell if something's in focus or not. But anyway, look, this is they left some of the original buildings. I think maybe 2 or 3, maybe more, maybe not. They're still here. They're still intact. So I wanted to make a little video here for you guys because this is really amazing here. I think this is one of the finest examples of true recycling, renew, reuse that I've ever seen, frankly. And this is one of the old shops where they would, of course, repair train cars, or sorry, I should say fix them as well, or build them even, probably, like freight cars and stuff. And it's really, really impressive. This actually looks like something I would have seen in somebody else's videos. I'm really happy to sort of report this for you guys. Look at that. Huh? Looking at this also reminds me of one of my favorite movies, which is called Tucker, A Man in His Dream from 1988. And it's, if you guys don't know cars too well, it's about a car and one of the most famous cars ever made and one of the most desirable and one of the most rarest American cars ever made. And the factory is a huge factory like this in Detroit. And it's just amazing. This could have been easily fucking torn down, and it's still here. Loading docks are still there, all the beams, all these original bricks. And this building, I mean, I don't know, I'd have to research it, but I would say, we're talking about 100 years old easy, probably even older than 100 years old. Maybe 150, maybe older, probably not older than 150, but somewhere along those lines, It would have been cool if the tracks were still here. There's obviously it would have been tracks here. I'm pretty damn sure about that. Look at all these garage doors that were here. I mean, were these all garage doors? I think some of them, half of them were windows maybe. This is like the old Dominion textile. It seems fitting that I hear a CP freight going by there on their main line over there. And that's where they have also a freight yard, which actually used to be massive compared to the way it is now. And I'm sorry, but my camera stopped recording because I forgot to delete all my videos. And so the memory card was full, So, oh yeah, I went by here in the winter. That's right. Now, it sucks too because I was just at that overpass. I'm not, depending on where I am, I'm not going to wait forever standing there, for a train to come. I mean, it's Sunday. There's not as many freights usually, or so it seems sometimes. I've never really mentioned this, but I love the contrast of things. Like, for example, the wall here. Look at this fantastic wall. Look at the contrast between the wall and the blue sky and all the shadowing and all the beams and the bricks. It's amazing. It's really amazing. It's really something. And look, it goes on over there. And there's also a grocery store here. Talk about rejuvenation. It's always great to see people appreciate history. There's not enough people who appreciate history, frankly. I mean, my mom and her boyfriend, Marcel, I would say stepfather, but he's now my dad, because my mom and him are married. And my dad's dead, my real dad. But I mean, they still appreciate a lot of historical stuff, art, music, so forth, popular culture, And even though they're way more into the new stuff than me, and they're way older than I am. Look at that, eh? Isn't that something? Huh? Isn't that something? What's that? That's a fusion. Fusion! Look at that, huh? What tabarnak, scrapage. Yeah. It's something. I don't know, but I got a feeling to live around here close to this shit would cost quite a bit of money. You know? So you see all these buildings, let me point out again, all these fucking buildings, industrial buildings, commercial buildings, apartment buildings, all this stuff was built in I don't know the last how many years. It's not old. All this fucking area belonged to Canadian Pacific. All of it was tracks and buildings for the maintenance and I guess repair and probably even building train cars. Specifically, I should say freight cars. Look at that. Look at that. They redid the whole freaking wall here. It's all redone. Yeah, massiveness. And you know what? There's a building somewhere where it still actually says, I think, Angus Yards on it. I gotta find it. And I'm not crazy about actually walking away this far from my Schwinn, but it's next to a busy street, a pretty busy street, so I think it should be okay. So I'm gonna stop here because I'm getting tired of holding the camera, so stay tuned. I'm walking back towards where my bike is parked at that street over there. Because, you know, these buildings are so long, they're so huge that I don't really... Look, I gotta go all the way to where that other building ends, and it's too far. I don't want to leave my bike that far away, even though it's not for very long. I mean, you know, there's a bad element to this. Is fucking Montreal East, you know? Like, no offense to you guys who grew up here, but this is like the complete opposite of the West Island. Like, things look all up and over here, but this area is surrounded by ghetto, okay? I live in a fucking ghetto. I've lived in ghettos, and I know. Okay, all it takes some fucking guy, you know, with some tools, fucking ratchet set, whatever, you know, fucking wrench, and it's bye-bye wheel, and never mind fucking breaking the lock off. That's not gonna happen, but it's the parts that are on that bike, that fucking tank alone that I have on there, paid $85 for that thing, you know, so, yeah. So I'm gonna go back the other way after with the bike, and I'm gonna show there's still a sign that says Angus Shop still painted on the building. Okay guys, I'm at the other end of this, of one of the CP rail shops here in the former Angus Yards, which seems to go on forever in a sense because it's so fucking humongous. And you can see there's an SAQ down there, which of course SAQ is Société Alcools du Québec, which is of course French for the Quebec Commission on Liquors, Alcohol. And there you have a Provigo grocery store there. And what's really retained a lot of its originality here is there's a control tower here. Just like on a fire station back in the day, they didn't at all have the communications like we have today, right? I mean, they were lucky even before I think telephones. You had a telegraph. But look, you see, it's still, the paint is still there. It still clearly says Angus Shops, and that's my Schwinn over there. And the funny thing is, though, is that the building over here, which looks like a house, it also looks like a train station. And I think that's actually very possible that, or it was an office. And check this out, look at this. This sign here was purposely rusted, right? To have that old school effect. That's really clever, you know, they see that? That is what you call thinking outside the box. You can dig that, you know. And there's another, you know, very, very old building. This also looks like it could have been like an office type building, administration for Canadian Pacific Railway, I guess. And look at that, eh? See, CPR, Canadian Pacific Railway. I gotta wonder, what does it look like up there, you know? Well, I'll tell you one thing, because of the fact I don't see fucking windows up there, and those are vents, it looks like they've housed some sort of a ventilation system probably up there, I guess. I mean, what the hell else would those vents be for? I don't know, maybe they're sleeping quarters for the employees or something. Yeah, right, eh? And we'll get back on the Schwinn here. I just want to keep this going a bit because I like it when I make videos where I don't have to stop filming and start again. I don't know, I just find it's very natural, you know? So I'm gonna hold a little bit here. Yeah, the fucking front wheel is squealing now because I took the goddamn thing off because I had to put it in the trunk of the Delta 88 yesterday. I don't want to go into it. Look at that, eh? Now look at these beautiful doors. They kept the fucking original doors, man. Hell, you even have to wonder if the those industrial fixtures are original. Gotta have a camera there for good measure, you know. Betcha that guy's a speed demon, eh? Anybody who buys a bike like that, they don't ride slowly, man. Not like this beach cruiser, but you know. There's yours truly there. Yeah. So you could see there would have been tracks here. That wasn't there before. And I don't know. I don't think they kept locomotives here. I don't know what the deal was here. Anyway, now it's a I don't know what it is. I don't know. I smell fish, you know. Anyway, whatever. That's about it. So you know, on this April 17th and approximately 20 degrees Celsius, definitely feels like summer. I hope you enjoyed this day as much as I'm enjoying it so far. Bye-bye.